Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about last night's episode of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Mike and Ximena. This storyline, as it's evolved, has had a lot of people talking, and in my opinion, last night's episode, we saw the mask come off for Mike, and I really wanted to talk about the power of editing in today's video, because if producers like you, if it fits the storyline, you can come off as a completely different person on camera. You know, we see a lot of cast members cry bad editing when they come off poorly. I think in this instance, Mike should be thanking producers, because between his offline social media posts, which we will touch on, and this latest episode, y'all, he displays some telltale incel behavior, and we just need to talk about it. I made a post probably about a week ago that I was Team Ximena, and that, you know, once it started to come out, now if you're a casual watcher of the show and you don't do even the more casual deep dives like on Reddit or just Instagram, the Instagram community, if you don't, you know, follow any of that, then you probably are completely unaware of what I'm about to talk about. But don't worry, we have receipts and we're gonna go through all of that. So I had made a post that I was Team Ximena because it had come out that, you know, Mike actually asked her to stop working as a cam girl. The way that they met was not the way that they actually met. The way that they tell us they met on the show is a lie. Shocking, I know. And so when you take into context everything that's been revealed, it really puts the relationship in a different light. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Here's the thing. When we're talking about incels and like incel behavior, it might be an unfamiliar topic to some people. It might be a familiar topic to some people. Don't worry. We have Wikipedia and some YouTube videos to help us today. So let's take a look. Dr. Grande, he has a YouTube channel. I actually have watched some of his other videos analyzing various behaviors of people, and this is what he had to say about incels.
So as I indicated, the term incel stands for involuntarily celibate. And I've only really ever heard this term referring to males who want to have sex with females. I suppose it could be used in other situations, but again, I've only heard incel used in that way. Now, this construct, this incel construct, is more than just heterosexual males who are unable to find a partner. There's an underlying ideology behind this community. So just like with any philosophy or ideology, the beliefs are going to be on a continuum. And there are people who identify themselves as incels who don't necessarily believe in the more extreme elements of this ideology. It's worth noting that some of the incel forums restrict the posts containing violent or extreme views. So we see some self-regulation in the community starting to happen.
Now let's take a look at the definition of incel via Wikipedia. So an incel is a member of an online subculture of people who define themselves as unable to get a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. Discussions in incel forums are often characterized by resentment and hatred, misogyny, misanthropy, self-pity, self-loathing, racism, a sense of entitlement to sex. So let's go back to the beginning here. The way that it was introduced to us was that Mike had met Ximena on a dating app or a dating site when he had set his location to Colombia. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't second guess that. I don't think a lot of people second guess that. There are weirder ways that people have met online. I mean, John and Rachel met on a karaoke app on, 90 days from yesteryear. So didn't seem out of the norm to a lot of us. But that is not how they met. Ximena had actually revealed in this caption, and it was translated, so you can pause if you want to read it. It was translated to English, but the gist of it was that she met Mike working as a cam girl, and it appears that Mike was a client or a customer. I'm not sure the correct terminology to use or what the preferred term is, but he was utilizing her services. He actually had asked her to quit because he offered to pay for her living expenses so that she would not work with other clients or customers. And this is when I say the power of editing is for real. I'm not gonna lie, Ximena does not come off particularly sympathetic, and she doesn't hide her motivation to be in this relationship. She's very forthcoming and honest about it, and I think that also has what sets some people off about her is you just expect, you know, when you watch, like, I don't know, Real Housewives or something, you expect people that are definitely in a relationship for money to be a little more, you know, like softer about it, or just sugarcoat it a little more. And Ximena definitely doesn't do that. When it is actually revealed now that this relationship was initiated by Mike, this situationship, if you will, was initiated by Mike. And again, I think it was not only did he not want her working in that way, but he wanted her to be dependent upon him. And, you know, Mike, he comes off really sympathetic on the show. He comes off as just an awkward guy, unlucky in love. He has really hot brothers. He's living with his dad and grandpa. But you know what? The truth is there's a much darker side to Mike. We've seen that with these revelation of these social media posts from years past and in Sunday's episode. And a lot of Sunday's episode was actually teasing next week's episode, which we're going to see Mike just totally, like, just lose it. I mean, not lose it, but he, like, calls her a cold bitch. And that is just so not cool. Mike gets dumped hard in this episode. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of found it funny, the pool hall scene, and I wouldn't want to be dumped like this. I wouldn't want to be dumped like this on national television. I wouldn't want to be dumped like this on national television, know it was coming, and have to rewatch it. So with all that being said, like, I get it. It's embarrassing. You don't look great. But also, this is an incel's worst nightmare. This is unacceptable for Mike. He is giving someone money. They should be grateful. They should be, you know, putting out for him.
You need your space. I just can't stop thinking that your feelings changed when I stopped saying yes to buying everything.
Tú tienes cosas que a mí no me gustan. Es eso que a mí me cambió totalmente los sentimientos.
Entonces solo quieren ser amigos. Eso es todo después de todo este año y medio.
Sí. Tú no serás más mi novio ni yo seré tu novia.
Okay, anything I paid for, I want to take back with me to New York.
Está bien, pero me gustaría llevar de vuelta conmigo cualquier cosa por la que pagué.
Si tú te quieres llevar todo lo que es mi casa, llévatelo.
White savior Mike, as he views himself, came in and rescued Ximena from cam work as he sees it. But you know what? What if she was happy doing the cam work? You know what? She was providing for herself, providing for her kids. She didn't ask Mike to bankroll him. If this was a profession, she was happy working. You know, she didn't say she needed saving. Why did he just assume that she did? It was just that he didn't want her camming for anyone else. I do not dispute the fact that there were times watching this storyline unfold where even I was like, ooh, Ximena girl. Huh. Like, I probably would have gone about it a different way. One example that comes to mind is 2 episodes ago where she is telling Mike's friend, I think her name was Nelsie, how much she is grossed out by Mike, how much she can't stand Mike. He just looks at her and blah, 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 blah. She's just so grossed out. And then when Mike is like, so what does this mean? And she was like, oh, are you ending things with me? So it was, you know, it's like you are clearly repulsed by him. And it was kind of baffled people that she would just say, oh, no big deal. Let's keep going. So that did set some people, kind of gave off a bad vibe there. But here's the problem with Mike. He was willing to be with a woman who found him beyond just unpalatable. And in my Instagram post from a week ago, I said that I think Ximena went into this relationship with a grow to love mentality. I think that Ximena saw this as stability. She hadn't met Mike yet, so she wasn't totally grossed out by him, but he could not gross her out. She tried. I feel like she tried to, say like, oh, don't do this. And when between the 2 trips to Colombia, he was sending her like status reports, like, look, I cleaned my room, go me. So the long way of what I'm trying to say is I feel like, she tried to control her ick factor, but she just couldn't get over it. But like I said, Mike was willing to be with a woman that found him unpalatable. He knew that she found him unpalatable. She told him as such. She told his friends as such. As long as she would sleep with him. If she would sleep with him, she could think he was as gross as the grossest grosso as the dog poop on his shoe. He didn't care. But as soon as she said no to his peen and no to his money, he really ripped that mask off. Mike has had many problematic social media posts that have surfaced. People have dug up, I think it was old Instagram posts or Facebook posts, and they're super problematic. They're gross. They're, like, to put it mildly, not a good look for Mike. And I think it also speaks to how he views himself and his life circumstance as above other people. And that kind of plays into that incel behavior and that incel mentality. His sense of entitlement is just so gross. He refuses to leave the apartment because he says he pays for it. And I think that that's just really crossing a line. I am curious, not that it matters, but if he is on the lease or if he's just, sending her money to pay the rent. If he's not on the lease, this is a moot point. He has no legal leg to stand on. But even if he was, if this is a domestic argument and someone asks you to leave so that they can de-escalate the situation, it is far easier for him to leave as one person than for Ximena to leave with her 2 kids. It's just that him refusing to leave was just so not cool, in my opinion. Then he tells her when she's doing the hardcore dumping that he wants all of his stuff back.
And I want my pink shirt back! I want my pink shirt back!
It was just like, oh, okay, how old are you? How old are you? Then, towards the end and on the next time on, he calls her a cold bitch.
This only reinforces the fact that you are using me for money. Because right now, you're cold and calculated. I pay the rent in this house, so I'm not leaving. She's a mean, evil, cold bitch. Hija de puta.
Dude, she is just not that into you. You could have done yourself a lot of favors by trying to mitigate the ick factor for her. You aren't inherently icky. It's your behavior that she found icky. So you could have not left skid-marked underwear on her floor. You could have not farted on her. You could have not brought dog shit into her house on the bottom of your shoe. It's like, help her help you is what I'm thinking. What did you guys think of this latest episode? What has your opinion changed on Mike? Has your opinion been the same all along? I'll be honest. I just thought Mike was one of those, maybe a little bit socially awkward guys that just, didn't have that finesse with the ladies and that he just needed you know, a woman in his life that maybe could show him how to put his dirty laundry in a hamper, or that farting is not maybe the sexiest thing to do when you're kissing your partner, but that all in all good intentions. But boy, was I mistaken. Then these social media posts come out, and then this, and it just really reminds me of this incel mentality, this, women owe me type of thing. And that if you do anything, any gesture towards a woman, you are owed something in return. And that's just like, no, you're not. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.